reveals the Injil. Jesus preaches the Injil, somehow writes this book down, passes the message on to his followers, and then Allah comes in there, corrupts the message, changes it to the belief that Jesus dies on the cross. So Allah corrupts the message, then doesn't stop the Apostle Paul from coming in there and corrupting it even more. But think about this. Allah lets Jesus do so much work and then helps corrupt it and allows someone else to come in and corrupt it. So Allah couldn't even preserve His word for even a few decades. And according to the Quran, no one can corrupt the word of Allah. So explain this to us, please. According to the Quran, no one can corrupt Allah's word. But according to what you're telling me, the Injil must have been corrupted almost immediately, partially by Allah. Allah helped corrupt it. So the question is, why? Why did Allah reveal the Injil, change and corrupt it by convincing people that Jesus died on the cross, and then allow someone else, Christians like the Apostle Paul, to come in there and corrupt the message? Why couldn't Allah protect it? It sounds like you're telling us that Allah is so weak that He can't protect His word, and it sounds like you're telling us that the Quran is wrong when it says that no one can corrupt the words of Allah. So think about how many problems you're stuck with just based on the facts, about what Islam teaches in the Quran and what history tells us.
Okay, and with that, we do have our first call. Before we take Brother Omad with us, make sure that you visit abnsat.com and you visit the 24-hour apologetics webcast that we just launched a few weeks ago. abnsat.com, make sure you check it out. Right now we have Brother Omad on air with us. Welcome to the show. Hello, you're live with Jeezer Muhammad. Welcome to the show.
Omad, you there?
Brother Omad, you there? We must have, we must have missed the call. Make sure that you call back. Our studio lines are open, 248-416-1300. Let's go on to the next question before we take our next call. This is the next question. If the Injil was corrupted so quickly that we have no evidence that it ever existed, then why did Allah say it was still available during Muhammad's time?
Yeah, and this is a massive problem. Think about this. Think about this. According to Islam, Allah reveals the Injil to Jesus in the 1st century. By the time we get down to the 7th century, the Injil is still there. It's still available. What does this mean? It means that for 7 centuries, the gospel is being preserved. The gospel is being passed around. Christians have the gospel. Allah even tells Christians that they are to judge by what they find in the gospel. It says that Christians can open the gospel in Muhammad's time and find that he is a prophet. So according to the Quran, the gospel has been around for 7 centuries, and yet we know from history there is no book during the first 7 centuries that fits what we find in the Quran. There is no book that proclaims Islam. The book that Christians had during the time of Muhammad and before the time of Muhammad is the New Testament. But the New Testament contradicts the Quran over and over and over again. So why, if the Bible was corrupted immediately, if the gospel was corrupted immediately, why does Allah say that it was still around during Muhammad's time? Think about this. You're stuck either way, Muslims. You're stuck either way. If you say that the reason the book we have right now contradicts the Quran is that it was corrupted, well, great, then Allah was deceiving people when He said, judge by what's in that book, because He's telling people to go judge by what's the teachings of a corrupt book. On the other hand, if you say, no, Allah says in the Quran that His word cannot be corrupted, therefore, what we find in the gospel is the gospel. That is the revelation of Allah. Well, then you've got a problem, because the only book we have that fits the characteristics of a Christian book passed on for centuries is the New Testament, and it says that Jesus died on the cross, that He rose from the dead, that He claimed to be divine. And all these teachings contradict what we find in the Quran. So if you say the Bible's been corrupted, Islam is false. If you say the Bible's been preserved, Islam is false. Either way, my friends, Islam is false and you're stuck.
And with that, we will take a break. I do want to announce to you that we are uploading a lot of clips on YouTube, and there's been over 20,000 views just of our Jeezer Muhammad clips online. And actually, 32% of those viewers are in Europe alone. And so one of our goals in the near future is to launch a channel to Europe, to our viewers out there, as Islam is growing very rapidly in Europe. However, we need to first get the word out there so that we can get public support and a recognition of the shows before we can sustain ourselves out in Europe. So please help us spread the word. We actually want to show you a quick clip before we go to break. This clip shows Anjem Choudary. He is the head of Islam for UK, and he actually publicly says that their goal is to implement Sharia in Europe and in the US and around the world. And so what these types of shows are doing is trying to build awareness of the violence of Islam and to stop those types of groups. So we're going to have you look at this clip. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. You're watching Jesus or Muhammad live on ABN.
Yet the Muslims in this country have nothing to say about the atrocities committed against them every day. Every day. If you don't wake up, ya Muslimin, then you will be finding yourself under an amazing persecution and continual degradation that will lead ultimately to the end of Islam in America. An actual Islam as propagated and promoted by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What we have here is a letter addressed to President Barack Obama from the Muslim nation, the Ummah of dignity, the Ummah of Izzah, the Ummah of Jihad, the Ummah of love, the Ummah of passion for justice. And we ask you, the Muslimin, that you sign this letter, that you log onto our website and that you endorse this letter.
Our objective is to struggle in order to implement the Sharia wherever we are, whether in Britain or in America or indeed in Iran or in Lebanon.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Jesus or Muhammad. We have a lot of calls coming in. So what we'll do, we'll take the first call. We have Brother Omad back on air with us. Welcome to the show. Brother Omad, are you with us or did you hang up again?
No. I'm sorry. My little son, he pushed the button. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I never watched you guys' show before, but I was skipping through the channel and I saw Jesus or Muhammad. And
Where
I
are you
thought
calling
right
from? You
away.
call from in the States or internationally, real quick?
Hello?
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just saw the title, Jesus or Muhammad, and right away I thought, like, why one? Why not both?
Why one, why not both? Is that your question for David?
No, my question actually, yeah, that is a question, because why not both?
Why not Jesus and Muhammad, David?
Saying why not Jesus and Muhammad is like saying why not Muhammad and Krishna, or why not Muhammad and Buddha? They had different teachings. Muhammad had teachings that are fundamentally different from the teachings of Jesus. Jesus said that he was going to die on the cross for sins. If Jesus said that he's going to die, if Jesus said that he's going to die on the cross for sins, and Muhammad said that no one can die for anyone else's sins, and that Jesus never died on the cross, they can't both be right. Now, you can say someone corrupted the message and that Jesus originally preached the same thing as Muhammad, but then you have to say, how did the message get corrupted? And that's what we're discussing today. According to Islam, Allah corrupted the message. So think about the alternatives you have here. One, either what we have from Jesus is what Jesus actually taught, or the message of Jesus was corrupted. Those are the only two possibilities. If the message of Jesus was corrupted, we can ask who corrupted it, and according to Islam, Allah corrupted it. So these are the problems we have. The bottom line is, if you say you can believe in both Muhammad and Jesus, then you have to say the teachings of Muhammad and Jesus have to match up. But the teachings of Muhammad and Jesus don't match up. They're fundamentally